We typically don't like to go straight to the pills. We typically, do these things that I've been talking to you about. I'll tell you a case one that just blew my mind once. True case. A woman brings her mother into the office. Her mother's like 86 or something. She walks into the office almost like a zombie. To go from my office door to where she's going to sit down took her, no kidding, maybe a minute to walk 6 feet. Her head was down. She was slumped over. She looked like a walking zombie. Sat down. The daughter tells me, "Doc, this is my mom. She's 86 years old. She wasn't like that 2 months ago. She was a perfectly normal 86-year-old mom getting around, walking, talking, doing everything. Now she's like this. What's the deal?" Turns out that she had hurt herself. She went to the emergency room. The emergency doctor in there, they took her blood pressure, and guess what? She was in pain and her blood pressure was high. That's a normal blood pressure response. That's not a diagnosis of high blood pressure. It was misdiagnosed. She was put on a drug that's particularly bad for older folks, and that's what you call the beta blocker. This particular drug was metoprolol, one of my least favorite drugs for blood pressure in older folks especially. Anyhow, the beta blocker does not get metabolized well in older folks, and it slows everything down. That's how the drug works. That's how the blood pressure goes on, because it just slows everything down. Turn this woman into a zombie. She goes back to her doctor that gave her the pill, and the doctor says, "Well, what do you expect? She's 86 years old. Of course she's not with it." So that's the problem. If you're an older person and you've got a complication with the medication that's making you drowsy or weak or stuff that's typical of older people, sometimes the doctor just writes that off and doesn't understand, no, this is a drug problem. It's not an old age problem. Anyhow, the long story short, we just took her off the metoprolol. She never did have high blood pressure, by the way. Her blood pressure is totally normal off the drug, and she's back to her own normal self again. So measuring blood pressure is not so easy. There are ways to do it without the ambulatory blood pressure monitor, but that's a really cool way to do it. You get your doc to put the blood pressure monitor on. He's got to go buy one. Like I said, they're in the order $2,000, something like that. You buy the blood pressure, you come to the office, we put it on you all day long. It's cranking out every 15 minutes. Around the end of the day, you bring it back. We download all the data. It calculates the mean for you, and it tells you exactly what your blood pressure is. If it's, certainly over 150, if it's over 145, 140-ish, we say, you got a problem there. Let's work on that. But we typically don't like to go straight to the pills. We typically, do these things that I've been talking to you about.